Hey everybody, it's me Edward Jones back with a new video on the topic of tools for urban preppers. Today I'll be covering the subject of hand protection. Now there may come situations where you'll have to move heavy objects that may put your hand at risk, or you may have to move objects that are too sharp or too cold, too hot, too slippery, things that can contaminate your hands. And so you want to make sure you have the proper hand equipment to make sure that your hands are well protected. To start off with, I would say with with just general working conditions, even if you live in an urban environment, these are some cotton work gloves. These probably cost about like $5.99 at a hardware store. These are good, very comfortable. They're breathable. They slip on fairly easy, as you see. Not too much constriction and movement. You can move your fingers very freely. These would be good for just general use if you have to move a trash can or lift certain objects. You didn't want to get your hands all battered up. These are pretty good to start off with. Now, a downside to these gloves, these are cloth gloves. So anytime you're handling objects that are maybe too sharp or too rough or too jagged, as you notice right here, there's a tear in this glove. There's another one right here. I use these gloves for light duty work. If I have to move some boxes outside or lift some limbs, move the trash can, use a rake, things like that. So these gloves are they're light duty, but they're a good They're a good starting point for for decent hand protection. I'll show you a different type of cotton gloves that have these grips on it. Have these knobby silicone grips on the inside as well as the outside. These are for grabbing objects that may be too slippery to use these gloves for. So let's say it's raining outside and you may have to move something that's very slick, like a piece of metal or a piece of wood that may be too slippery to grip with these gloves. These gloves are also good to have. Now, another downside, just like these, it's cotton fiber, so they do get holes, like I have right here in the joint between my thumb, my index finger. There's a hole right there, another hole right there. So I say look for good gloves. Look for ones that are reinforced in certain weak spots, primarily being right here between your thumb and index finger in these areas, and also around the palms. These gloves are pretty good around the palms. I've done a fair amount of work with these outside, and some things in the basement I had to use a good pair of gloves with, like moving boards, 2x4s, plywood, things like that. So these are good light duty gloves to start off with. These shouldn't be maybe $6.99 at a local hardware store, and I say they're worth the investment. I've had these for a fair amount of time, going on a year, and they hold up. Usually, with a lot of use and abuse, these gloves tend to fall apart pretty fast. So I say if you're going to be doing things that are going to require a little more reinforcement, maybe time for you to step up to something that's a bit stronger. I just purchased these today. These were about $12.99. These are leather gloves. It's cowhide. Now these are not as comfortable as the cotton gloves, but they offer a bit more protection in terms of reinforcement. There's good stitching, reinforcement right here along the upper part of your palm, along the fingers. There's stronger stitching. It also these are very comfortable. I mean, they're fairly comfortable. You can flex your hand. I can flex my hands inside these gloves. I can move my thumbs. I'll be able to manipulate objects with these. These would be good for if you have to handle things that are just too rough for cotton gloves, such as cinder blocks, concrete, rebar, glass, jagged pieces of metal, wood that be fairly rough and that splinters very easily. The splinters won't be getting through these. There's a cowhide. Now there are better leather gloves out there. In fact, when I bought these, I got them from Ace Hardware. They come with a scale, and see if I can get maybe get a pin here so I can point this out. If you notice right here, they have a scale of I guess of duty in terms of what's heavy duty and what's light duty. This right here is cotton. This is light. This is offers the least protection. This is light duty. Next is what I bought right here, which is cowhide. After that would be pig leather, and the toughest would be goat skin. So I figured I made a good upgrade from using regular cotton gloves to having a little bit more heavy duty cowhide gloves. But over time, I eventually will upgrade to these two. They talk about superior durability, double layer reinforced palm, comfortable fit, keystone and thumb, variety of uses where you have a wider range of uses for these type of gloves. So I'd say that'd be my computer out of sleep mode. I'd say one of those. These are a good upgrade for if you're starting off with these regular cotton gloves. These also can handle higher temperatures or even lower temperatures. So let's say you have to move something that was very fairly hot or fairly cold, and you want to protect your hands. These are good, but there is even a higher level of protection. If you notice in one of my previous videos, I have welding gloves. I had a welding helmet. That's because I've done welding for a few years in my past, and some of the things I've taken with me were some equipment. So like safety equipment, like my welding helmet, as you can see right there in that picture, up on the wall. I kept my welding gloves from high school. These are called welding gauntlet gloves. Now, as far as movement, not as much movement as these. Certainly not enough movement as these cotton gloves, but these are made of pigskin, and these are extremely durable when it comes to handling things of extreme temperatures. Well, let's say there was where you were, there was maybe a fire, and you had to move hot objects out in a hurry, but these gloves would get eaten up pretty fast because of the temperatures. These, from experience, are able to withstand fairly high temperatures. I remember my first time having these type of gloves in welding class. It was like around January, and it got pretty, even in South Carolina, it was pretty cold inside the shop. What I did was, with an oxyacetylene torch, cut a half-inch piece of steel and held it with these gloves on. I held it for about maybe 3 to 5 minutes on and off, just held on to them. It warmed my hands up. Now I could feel when the heat was too much, so I put it down. But these gloves held up, even after holding something that was, even after holding, half-inch steel that's just been cut with a torch. So if you believe you may find yourself in a situation where you may have to move something of very extremely high, or even very low temperature, these can handle, cold, very cold temperatures as well. I'd advise getting a pair of welding gloves. I remember when we didn't have any oven mitts in the house, I used these, and these work real well in taking out hot pots and pans, or hot casserole dishes. Now, like I said before, you're more limited in your hand mobility, but these are far more reinforced than these cotton gloves and these cowhide gloves. And on the inside, they have like multiple layers of stitching, like cotton and canvas. Also, these are called gauntlet gloves. So, let's say you were to be handling hot or cold objects, your wrists would be protected. These are gauntlet gloves, so they're meant to fit over a jacket. When I was in welding class, these fit over our leather welding jackets, which are also of the same material. So this is another option for heavier duty use concerning extreme temperatures. Now let's say you had to manipulate things that were not of extreme temperatures, but more of a health concern. Let's say that there was a dead animal, or God forbid, a dead body you had to move. Just something that was biological in nature. You didn't want to get it on your skin, or it was a type of chemical. Just these house household gloves. These are fairly cheap. I've paid maybe $1.99 for this pair, um, and these hold up for a pretty long time. Hot water and cold water. I've been able to wash a lot of dishes, clean objects wearing these gloves. And they've done pretty well. Protect my hands against, uh, you know, anything that was nasty that I had to pick up out of a trash can off the floor. So let's say in an SHTF situation, you had to move something that you didn't want to get in your skin. These are very good. These are light duty. There are better gloves out there that are more chemical resistant than these. They're not latex. They tend to be of a PVC variety. So, but these are a great starting point. Now, let's say you need it more. You need to move your hands a bit more. Let's say you were for first aid, and you had to get in. You had to help. Either yourself or someone who just been hurt, and you didn't want to get your hands dirty to contaminate yourself or contaminate them while rendering first aid. There are these first aid gloves. Now these are the latex type. These are nitrile for like sans latex. For those who are allergic to latex, this is another good alternative. These can help with first aid, health care, pet care, and diabetic care. Um, these are medical grade gloves. So if they offer better maneuverability and manipulation of your hands, and you'll be able to grip objects that may be too slick, either by through maybe bodily fluids or some type of light chemicals that may get on a wound, or things of that nature. So these are a good pair of gloves. If you're not allergic to latex, go with the latex. They tend to be good. They tend to stretch more, and they have a good powdery coating on the inside that keeps the hands dry. Um, I just bought these today, and I'll put these along with my first aid preps. But there you go. This is my video on basic hand protection, because if the shit hits the fan, well, you want to make sure you have gloves on to be able to pick it up. Be able to use the toilet paper more effectively to wipe things up. But that's my video. I'm Edward Jones, and you take care. Have a nice day.